Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey. Thanks once again for tuning into my channel. Continuing on with my comic wish list. So this will be part 3 or episode 3, or whichever way you want to call it. If you haven't watched any before, basically what I'm doing is just sharing what is on my, as the name suggests, my comic wish list. So what I actually want to, try and get a hold of at some point. Obviously there's a lot of books. I've got a very big list. There's a lot of really big books, some sort of in the middle, and obviously quite a few lower ones as well. I'm pretty much, obviously, if you know me, you know my channel, you know I'm an old school Marvel person, so I basically just collect Marvel books. I am trying to go after, key appearances, first appearances, key issues, things like that, to try and, fulfill sort of runs and, things that I've been wanting for quite a while. So obviously, like if I mention something like Amazing Spider-Man 1, obviously I need Amazing Spider-Man 1, it's a key issue, it's the, it's the first of the ongoing series of Amazing Spider-Man. It's one I need to complete my entire run, so on and so forth. So with this particular list that I decided, I tried to mix it up a little bit more. Obviously it's sometimes like, because I haven't actually got the list with me. I've actually got it on the computer at the missus's house, and trying to remember what's actually on my list, because as I said, it's a rather big list. But I tried to think of more sort of middle to lower end books that I'm actually chasing. Obviously there are a few bigger books that are not like, ginormous level sort of books, but some medium and some lower end books. But I think, as long as I remember, I think there is 10 that I've picked again. Obviously last time I said 10 and actually only did 9, but we'll see how we go with the list anyway. So the one that I missed from the previous episode, and obviously with the movie coming out within the next, I'd say within the next 12 to 24 hours officially. Obviously there's been premieres and things like that. Obviously the second Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever, is, as I said, literally out in the next 12 to 24 to 48 hours, depending on which part of the world you're in. Fantastic Four number 52. The first appearance of Black Panther. It's a book I've definitely, because Black Panther's one of those sort of characters that, obviously, before the movies and before a sort of, in like the Silver and the Bronze Age, yes, he was around quite a bit, but he was never a massive popular character as far as I know. He's only really been sort of coming to fruition probably in the last, decade or so. But I've always found him intriguing. Obviously the country that he comes from, Wakanda, is very intriguing. So I've always wanted his first appearance, so Fantastic Four 52 is definitely on the list. And obviously, fresh in my mind with the movie coming out. So that'd be more your sort of middle to getting towards the higher tier, but probably I'd still classify as sort of a middle range sort of book, especially in a low grade. The next one is just one of those books that I've always wanted. I've had chances and opportunities in the past to sort of buy it, but I've never really seen a price that sort of, sat well with me. The book is Incredible Hulk number 340. Obviously, if you know the book, it's been homage to the shithouse, just like ASM 300 and a few other books that are just, there's been a million different homages too, but I've always wanted the original. I just can't justify paying a couple of $100s for purely just a cover. I know, we talk about nowadays cover buying and things like that, but you're cover buying off the shelf or on pull box or, things like that. You're not necessarily, cover buying, from a 20, 30-year-old book. and trying to spend a couple $100 on it. I just don't, I can't, it's a book I want, but I can't justify paying those kind of dollars. But seriously, like if I found one, even if it was a little bit rough, you know, if I found one for $50 or $100, I would definitely would buy, because it is a book that I've always wanted. I don't want any of the homages, I want the original. So yeah, Hulk 340, definitely on the list. Obviously not really a key issue, more just for the cover, but it's a key issue because of the cover. But anyway, we better keep moving. Strange Tales 110. Now, Strange Tales 110 is the first appearance of Doctor Strange. So I think now that the hype sort of died down because of, you know, all the movies and stuff like that, it's slowly becoming a book, and I think it's definitely in low grade. It can become that sort of middle range where it might be affordable to try and find. Obviously, it's just luck. You know, I probably won't pick one up here. But in saying that, it's probably a book that is achievable for me still. So yeah, first appearance of Doctor Strange, Strange Tales 110 is definitely on the list. The next book is Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1. Now, this is an absolute classic Steranko cover. First appearance of Scorpio. It is a key issue for cover and for appearances. And obviously being the first in his own book, should I say, because he was always in sort of Strange Tales and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely one of those classic covers that I've always wanted to get. So yeah, it's definitely another one on the list. So the next one, next couple actually, the next two are actually Daredevil books. So Daredevil 131 is the first appearance of Bullseye. I would say, besides Kingpin, Daredevil, Bullseye would definitely be his sort of main nemesis. So yeah, really cool character. And it's a book that I have always wanted to buy, but just I can never find it at a reasonable price over here. It's just one of those ones that, they're always in CGC or, you know, in slabbed cases. They're always asking top dollar, and it should be a sort of middle to lower range sort of book that it should be affordable, or, you know, at least reasonably affordable, even in a low grade. But yeah, it's definitely a book I've always wanted. The next one is another first appearance from Daredevil, and this is one of those books that's actually a little bit annoying. It's Daredevil 168, which is the first appearance of Elektra. Now, what I mean by annoying is, I hear a lot of people say, you know, it's a book that shouldn't really go that high and things like that. I had one opportunity. I got outbid at the last second on one of my Facebook groups. I could have literally picked up a raw copy that was in pretty good condition for around $200-$250, I think it was. And yeah, got pipped at the post, right? I think that's the closest I've ever been to owning that book. They're always like $500, $600, $700+, and it's a book that I want, but I can't really. I see that as sort of the middle and lower sort of range in the first appearances that I want, that I'm just not prepared to pay that kind of big dollars for. So, but it's still a book that I've always wanted, because I've always found Elektra just an awesome character. The next book on the list is a book I tried to get before Strange Academy came out. It's Strange Tales 169, which is the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. Obviously, I've mentioned Doctor Strange. Also want Brother Voodoo. Still another cool character. Obviously, with the Strange Tales, he was Strange Academy, very highly, sort of put into those books. So obviously, the first appearance went up. One of those books that, once again, I think is achievable for me. It's just right time, right place, and right amount. So definitely a book that I've wanted for at least the last couple of years anyway, and I tried to actively seek it, But yeah, never had a decent opportunity. Next, the same goes for this next book. It's Special Marvel Edition number 15, which is the first appearance of Shang-Chi. So a lot of people say Shang-Chi. I think it's actually pronounced Shang-Chi, but I just say Shang-Chi, whatever. Another book that I actively sought probably at least 6 to 12 months before the movie came out, but obviously the hype behind it, the book just kept growing and going and going and going. Hopefully it's a bit more affordable now. I haven't actually looked at recent prices, but I've definitely a book that I've always wanted. Obviously the main thing for me is to try and get, you know, most of the first appearances of all the characters that I like, regardless of whether I collect them or not. The other one that I definitely like collecting is villain first appearances. Thus, the next two books will definitely be in that category. The next book is one of those ones I've never ever seen it cheap over here. It shouldn't really be an expensive book, like a super expensive book, but it always has been over here, unfortunately. And that's Iron Fist number 14, the first appearance of Sabretooth. Obviously, me being, you know, like besides Spidey, Wolverine's another one of my favourite characters. So, you know, Wolverine and Sabretooth sort of go hand in hand with the, you know, the Versus and the Nemesis sort of thing. And I've always wanted his first appearance. And realistically, in that whole Iron Fist run, from the, you know, the Bronze Age and things like that, even Iron Fist's first appearance, like Sabretooth in that whole run is still the most expensive book from what I know in that run. Even Iron Fist 1 or his first appearance, that Sabretooth book is still more expensive. Which, yeah, go figure. It is what it is, but Sabretooth's, you know, is one of those villains. Yeah, he's a cool villain. I've always liked him. So, yeah, definitely on the list. But, yeah, I think it's going to be hard to actually get this one at a reasonable price. So, but anyway, last one. I thought I'd go one a little bit sort of more random. The next book is Fantastic Four number 35, which is the first appearance of Dragon Man. Now, Dragon Man, I first discovered him actually when I was buying my Bowen Design statues. They had a mini bust of Dragon Man. I didn't know any. I'd never even heard of him before, and obviously this is going back about 20 years. But I'd never actually heard of him before, and I just sort of researched him a bit once I'd actually bought the mini bust. I just thought he's just a cool character, and, you know, and who doesn't love dragons anyway? So yeah, just a cool character, and I think that's one of those books. It definitely is an affordable book. It's just a matter of actually finding one over here. I don't really want to try and go too much to eBay overseas because the Aussie dollar is absolutely in the toilet at the moment. But, you know, it's one of those books, if I stumble across it, I'm definitely going to be picking it up. But as I was saying, like, they're the 10 books for this particular episode. But in saying that, I'm going to try and, yeah, like, get to those sort of lower end keys that I really want. Which are mainly villain keys. Because obviously most of the hero keys are, you know, in that middle to upper sort of echelon of, you know, of price-wise anyway. So, but, yeah, I don't want to be just saying, oh, you know, I want first Iron Man and first, you know, first Spider-Man and, you know, all the big books. There are a lot of lower end books that I want as well. But in saying that, I think this episode has gone on well long enough. Thank you if you've stuck to the end. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment below. I hope you're enjoying this series. Obviously, it's not me showing anything. It's just me talking. But yeah, I hope you really do enjoy this series. I think I'm going to have quite a few parts because, as I said, there's a very long list of books that I want. But in saying that, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.